Hey, it's Steve Barcelo at the Cryptozoology Paranormal Museum. As you guys are watching and follow me, you probably saw last weekend, actually last week, it was Monday and Tuesday, I was down on the Outer Banks trying to see if I could capture any of these suspicious lights people are seeing flying over the ocean there. And I had no luck, unfortunately, but that's the way it goes. Just the day before, though, the government, actually the Air Force, shot down a Chinese spy balloon, they believe it is, just down the shore on South Carolina. Wish I could have been there for that. So that's kind of been crazy. A lot of people have been talking about it. Of course, it's become a political football like everything these days do. But the really interesting thing is, now on Saturday, last Saturday, actually they shot down a Tic Tac or Tic Tac shaped I guess you'd call it a ship. They're saying it's not a balloon. They're saying it was something the size of a small car. And this is over Alaska. They felt it was in the range it was at, I think it was 44,000 feet, could be danger to aircraft, commercial aircraft, things like that. And they deemed it from the president on down to shoot it down. So that's crazy. And right away it's following up on this balloon that everyone's all upset about. Now, yesterday, they just shot down another one of these crafts shaped similar to a Tic Tac over Canada. So now this has been kind of nuts. So I'm going to show you some stuff here, but I want to play this news brief where you have the a general talking about it.
At the direction of the President of the United States, fighter aircraft assigned to U.S. Northern Command successfully took down a high-altitude airborne object off the northern coast of Alaska.
A U.S. F-22 fighter jet on Friday shot down an unidentified object, about the size of a small car, flying over Alaska. The Pentagon's chief spokesperson, U.S. Brigadier General Patrick Ryder, said.
The aircraft that took down the object was an F-22, flying out of Joint Base Elmendorf in Alaska. It employed an AIM-9X to take down the object.
This comes less than a week after the military brought down a Chinese balloon that had flown across the United States.
The object was flying at an altitude of 40,000 feet and posed a reasonable threat to the safety of civilian flight.
Now that you've seen that piece there, I'm going to put in some of the photos here. There's a leak photo that came out claiming to be the craft that was shot down, and this is the one that's in Alaska. There's nothing released out of Canada at this point unless these are just switched. But it's kind of insane. Now, this comes out after having tons of information leaked out there, I guess it was like 2-3 years ago, basically in the beginning of COVID, when these Air Force officers are coming out and saying they were seeing these things hovering out over the ocean, and how they were, some were triangular shaped. Other things kind of more of a disc shape, and they would have the heavy winds up at those elevations, and these things would just be stable for hours at a time, and they would see them flight after flight after flight, and then when they would move, they would just pitch up like this, and you would think it would be something would move flat, but they'd pitch up and then move in that direction. It's just kind of strange stuff. I mean, I love it. It's great that all this stuff's coming forward. We're going to do our best to get out and do more investigating, and as stuff comes out, we'll keep doing videos here. If you guys have any ideas, if you've heard anything, please let us know. Do a comment below, share anything you've got. If you know somebody that's in the military who's giving you some little inside information, we don't need names. We just want to see what's going on there, if anyone knows more about this. Usually I find out with things like this in the past, it's always the first couple of stories that come out. They seem to be the more factual. Then there tends to be a cover-up, or something comes out, and that's when the swamp gas and the weather balloons and all this other stuff, dummies are being dropped from high elevation to see how they held up. All this kind of crazy stuff comes out after the fact, and one of the things I've been looking back to and studying because of all this, held my interest, and we're trying to do more of a UFO presence in the museum. It's a lot of the old Bob Lazar stuff, and that just amazes me now. You watch the old stuff he talked about, I think that's almost 30 years now, and all of a sudden now, like the Element 115, him talking about the craft that looked like it was made from one piece of wax, molded together, no straight edges, no bolts, anything. And now he comes forward and says 3D printing. It wasn't around back then. Or, our technology is very slowly catching up to some of the stuff that they have there, and talking about the propulsion system. I mean, just nuts. It's just amazing. So I'm digging in deeper, trying to find more. And now with all this new stuff coming out, and I think it's impressive that at least now they're telling us more of this, where all the stuff was covered up in the past. But anyway, thanks for watching.
We do expect to be able to recover the debris since it fell not only within our territorial space, but on what we believe is frozen water. So a recovery effort will be made, and we're hopeful that it'll be successful, and then we can learn a little bit more about it.